Hello, and you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
And we fixate on backstories. I'm still going on that
I like
agenda.
backstories. Everything needs a good backstory.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that, because I edit these episodes, I keep hearing us, getting fixated on backstories.
I know.
It's kind of funny, but kind of what is the point of this?
You gotta build the base so that any game master that uses these later has that perfect base to build from. They know these characters inside and out. They know exactly where stuff is coming from.
Whatever helps us sleep at night.
I sleep better.
Anyways, I think we should find out what our next one is, and hopefully it's a good one. Got dice?
I got them. 40.
Ooh, an even 40.
Yep.
Ooh,
Nice,
nice
solid
simple,
20s.
short one.
Oh, that might make it more difficult.
Maybe. But lost boy named James. He's been missing for over a week. And was last seen going to play by the river. Reward if found.
Okay. So, is this a kidnapping? Is this a fae type of thing? Maybe he could be kidnapped by fae. Still kidnapping. It's probably a kidnapping.
Oh, what happens if Bridge to Terabithia, but it really goes into the Feywilds or something like that?
Yeah, maybe there's a hidden portal over there and it becomes a whole Feywild quest
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
If we want to go continue on the fantasy one, or are we gonna do silly?
I mean, silly's fun to throw in no matter what you're doing.
A nice serious tone would be he could be teleported, finds a walk Bridge of Terabithia version of going into the Feywilds kind of thing, and you have to
Or
go
a ring of
retrieve.
mushrooms.
But the funny approach that I thought of is, what if jumps to a different dimension, but it's U.S. modern day Earth.
Oh my gosh, he ends up in the real world.
And then the party goes through a portal.
Oh my gosh.
And then you basically have to role play fancy creatures reacting to modern day Earth stuff.
I kind of like it.
This is okay. This is ridiculous route, but I think it'll be funny.
Oh, it's extremely ridiculous. It's perfect. Yes. Kid falling into the Feywild, that happens every day. Kid falling into our world, that's pretty different.
Okay.
You've been wanting to do this for a while, haven't you?
No, I just thought because I think I've already just said in a past episode. One of my favorite D&D podcasts is Dungeons and Daddies, and that is a podcast where the premise is there are dads from our world that get tossed into the Forgotten Realms. It's an isekai.
Nice.
And
Well, this
so
is like a reverse.
This is the
isekai?
reverse isekai kind of thing.
Nice.
But I just thought it would be more funny and just
Technically,
wacky.
it's still isekai because it's just someone in another world.
Whatever. I never actually learned the definition. I just know that that's a category for anime.
One my husband loves.
Let's say, I guess we could start off in the beginning of just in the fantasy realm before heading over to Earth.
In the beginning.
The beginning.
In the beginning. If
What's
you don't know what that is.
Let's say it's a single mother looking for a son.
Yeah. So
what's her name?
Valerie.
Wow, you were actually quick on that one.
I have the name generator in front of my face. It's just the first one I stared at.
Oh, you're so prepared.
I'm also typing all of these down so I remember.
No, it's fine. So Valerie, basically the job posting kind of directs them to talk to the mother kind of thing.
Yeah, basically it's like, hey, I live here. If you have any information or if you want to help me search for my son, come talk to me at this address.
Or if
thing.
if any of the party members ask about this job posting for searching for a boy, everyone's like, oh, that's Valerie's son, all that stuff.
Yeah, go talk to Valerie. She works at the such and such shop in the middle of town.
Yeah, and
so that's when she'll tell them, well, last I heard you said down by the river?
Yeah. Last seen going off to play by the river.
Okay.
So now the question is, how do we establish the portal?
Well, next question is, does he often play by the river?
I feel like it's a common thing.
Yeah, because she probably wouldn't bat an eye to him just going to play by the river. So something has changed. Something is different. And it has to be something that the townsfolk haven't noticed, because they've probably been looking for him too.
True.
So it's got to be something hidden relatively well, more than your average person would be able to find.
You're you're doing the whole fishing for me to come up with something, right?
No, I'm fishing for my own brain to think, and I'm just stalling. So what if there's an invisible portal? Like you don't see it until you fall through it,
Oh,
type of thing.
is it like the whole Mirage thing of like when you like step into it, it does that ripply water effect
Yeah.
that you see in movies?
Yes, something along those lines. And what if it's in the middle of the river? It's a shallow enough river you could probably wade into it. Maybe it's like mid calf, mid thigh for really really short creatures. Yeah, mid calf is not mid thigh, but you know what I mean. It's walkable for any race down to like halfling and stuff. But somewhere in the middle of the river, if you know have a good enough sense, or if someone accidentally walks into it, there's just this portal floating there.
But it's invisible.
Yes.
So would the water be continuously flowing into Earth?
I was thinking that maybe it could be like an accidental waterfall that just popped up somewhere and everyone's like, whoa, where did the water come from? Or it's floating just above the water, so that's not happening. And if anyone finds the portal, they trip into it because they hit the edge of it and fall in, which could be how James fell in the, like, you know, he fell in and now he doesn't know how to get back because he can't find it.
I don't know if that encourages a party to go into that.
Well, they gotta find James.
True. I'm just wondering, like, how do we? Because I'm also worried about, like, if they ever see like certain circumstances, and then they'll assume they might just assume, oh, he drowned, he's dead, quest over.
I mean, yeah, that could be it.
I assume
they would have
though,
found a
most
body.
parties would try to find a body, though.
Like it's a small, like it's such an easy flowing river that the mother is not worried for her son playing by it. So it's shallow enough, it's easy flowing enough. She, like, you know, it's not, you can't drown in this river.
Ah,
Maybe it's not even calf deep. Maybe it's just ankle
I'll
deep.
take that challenge, good madam.
Please don't. I used to play in a creek when I was little. It was not nearly deep enough. Well, actually, it actually was deep enough if you got stuck in the mud, which was really fun to try to get out of.
Oh, I bet.
I lost my boot, and then I lost my sock, and then I was stuck with one foot in the mud and a sock over there and a boot over there. It was just, and it smells bad too. Anyway, tangent
Okay,
over.
so like the portal is like generates the water, so then it could be mistaken as like a spring well
I wouldn't say it's generating the water, but the water could be flowing through it.
flowing into Earth or out from Earth.
I was just thinking, like, you see a river flowing by, that's nothing out of the ordinary, and then the portal's just somewhere floating in the middle of it, but like up above the water, so no water's actually flowing through it. It's just kind of hanging out in midair, as portals tend to do.
Okay, but how does the party find it?
With a high enough, like, perception check, or someone accidentally walks into it. And if at some point your party is still not finding it, you could have like a random bird fly through it and disappear and have them notice that.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
like
I
Deus Ex Machina here. Like, there's a portal, guys.
yeah, okay.
Find it.
The Deus Ex bird sold me
Yeah.
on that. Okay.
Okay, yeah. It's like, even if they can't find it, like, it will be made like noticeable to them.
So the question is, when going through the portal, where do they end up?
I was thinking forest.
I was
Like,
thinking
they still think they're in their own kind of world, and it's just a slow realization for the players. Oh my gosh, we're in our world.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there is two approaches cuz I was thinking LA River.
Just in the middle of a city.
It's in the middle of the city.
Oh shoot, that would be
But
something.
the reveal would be also interesting on your side.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just imagining some trolls listening to a boombox playing Saturday Night Fever.
What?
Listeners, if you get that reference, let me know. I'll tell you later. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
let us know on Twitter. I don't know. Explain it to me on Twitter because I don't
Yes.
know what you're saying.
You've missed out.
Okay, so if it's in a forest, where should the forest be? Should we
Pacific Northwest?
Okay, so we're doing it in our home turf. Do we want to do a big condensed city? Because it'll be funnier to like it would be funny if like New York, Chicago, Boston, LA.
I mean, that
Or do we do
would be
a
a culture
small
shock.
hick town community if it's in the Pacific Northwest, maybe like Mossy Rock or Longview or stuff like that?
keep in mind, if any of them are non-human races, guns may be fired if they enter a hick town.
True.
Guns will be fired, especially if there's
Okay.
a tiefling or something.
If they go into Seattle or Portland, Oregon, they will be welcome as cosplayers.
Yes, they'll be fine. They won't even stand out in the slightest.
Oh,
Uh,
they appear on one of the islands in the Puget Sound.
there you go.
Okay.
we're big fans of the Pacific Northwest, so sorry.
I think
PNW
I've
wins.
already said that we live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be a problem if we based something around here.
Okay.
It's what we know.
I think it'll be good because then the whole dramatic reveal would be on the island, and then
Oh,
you see off in the distance the skyline of Seattle.
yeah. I've got a much better Deus Ex bird.
Okay.
There is rain flowing sideways through the portal.
Oh, because it's raining in.
Yeah, because it rains here, and when the wind blows, it rains sideways.
Okay, that could also work.
Yeah. You know what, Game Master? Do what you want. So they end up in Seattle, somewhere in the Puget Sound, on a small island. Do I need to look up islands in the Puget Sound now?
Yeah, do you want to look up islands?
Oh my gosh.
We gotta have the details.
And your battle maps will just be Google Maps.
Yes. Speaking of
Okay.
which, I'm pulling up Google Maps.
Puget Sound, Washington. Oh, there's so many islands to choose from.
There is.
There's this one that doesn't really have much on it. What's this? Oh, this is really good listening right now as I'm talking about things I'm looking at.
I am also looking at Google Maps right now on my phone.
So, all right, we've got this one little island called McNeil Island. It appears to have like a nature preserve on it.
Where is that?
I don't think it's anywhere near. It's not really that close. Okay, it's not close enough to actually see the Seattle skyline. But there is Blake Island Marine State Park, which appears to have a village.
Is that on the across the like on the Canadian side of the border or U.S. side of the border?
This right next to Seattle.
This is
once again very good listening.
Oh, I found Hat Island.
Hat?
Yes.
Hat Island? Where the?
It's right next to the Pasilla Bay. It's right in that bay.
Huh.
And it's right next to Saddlebag Island State Park.
Why don't we just give the Game Master the ability to pick an island?
I am so sorry for the listeners of this, but I'm having a little bit of fun right now.
I know, this is actually a lot of fun,
I've
and I'm going to be looking at this map later.
Here.
I know, there's so many. Ooh, Protection Island. There's some cool names in here. There's also a Heron Island.
Oh my god.
There appears to be streets and stuff on it.
Hey, future Brandon here. I just wanted to let you guys know that after we finished recording the episode, we still talked about the island some more, and we determined that it was going to be Blake Island. It's got a good view of like downtown Seattle. Like it'll be a perfect shot for seeing the skyline. Also, past me was talking a lot about like some island names. I was actually way north, much more north of Seattle. So ignore all my island names because they are way too north. Anyways, back to the episode. Anyways, so how did James get off this island?
Is he? Oh, maybe. Well,
because I want to have James in the city.
If people find a feral child hanging out on an island,
a random kayaker, because you could rent kayaks in the Puget Sound area.
Yeah. So found by a kayaker and taken to possibly a police station so they can try to find his parents. You know he would end up at a police station or somewhere like that. Why is this section called Fauntleroy? I absolutely love the name of this area.
So
I gotta stop looking at this map.
Back on the rail car.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Back on track.
I get it now. So, there's a ferry. The ferry could find him.
Yeah, but the ferry doesn't usually do
found by a ferry.
I understand the joke you're trying to do.
I say as I'm like flapping my hands in the air like little fairy wings that you can't see.
That I nor the audience could see.
Yeah. I kind of want to drop them on an island close enough / far enough away, but like close enough where they could see the Space Needle. Because
if they see the skyline, they could see the Space Needle.
I don't know. There's a lot of... True. Never mind. Seattle is not as big as I think it is. There's other cities around it.
But I want to say that let's have little James be either under police custody trying to find his parents or possibly like foster child. But I don't think a week would be fast enough.
Yeah, he hasn't been there that long. It might even be the same day.
I don't know lost children protocol.
A couple of days. I know.
In this area.
They've probably taken him to the police station. And quite possibly, maybe one of the police officers has volunteered to foster him at their house.
Okay. So then I just want it's now the party versus the guards. But they still have access to all their magic.
Yes, they brought all their magic with them. Would deities be able to be reached?
Let's just say yes,
Okay.
because technically, in at least in for D&D, they do have list of deities of like Norse, Greek mythology, and all that stuff that could still act as like your deity for Forgotten Realms. So
That's true. Yeah. And deities can still be contacted in interplanar traverse. So this kind of just would count as another plane,
yeah,
essentially.
it's basically another plane.
Yeah. It's
Um,
the plane of us.
Plane of science. I don't know because no magic.
Industry?
I think there's industry in all play.
Yep, there's
There's
science
science.
in
Yeah,
D&D
I
too.
understand what the contradictory thing I just did. But anyways, but I feel like any magic, like the people in Seattle would fall for like any illusion or like
Oh yeah.
anything
It
like
would
that.
be much easier checks to fool them with stuff like that.
Or even like they have disadvantage on saving throws on them, like especially with mind effects and all that stuff, like wisdom saving throws.
Oh yeah. No one here is prepared for that.
No one is
Yeah.
trained for it.
Nope. Well, unless they're in the military, that one secret branch that was trying to study telepathy and telekinesis and all that fun.
Oh, do you want to say that that's real?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the branch is real.
I'm saying like they actually developed like
Oh, there's
supernatural beings.
actually.
Yeah, this will basically be like some mild Psycho 100,
Okay, okay.
where it's just like if the party causes too much trouble,
Oh, they send in the.
they send in these secret agents.
Okay.
This
So
is so
if
stupid.
if chaos breaks loose, they're sending in, I
If
don't know, let's just
if the
say
party
Agent
uses
Smith
too much
here.
magic and the
Yeah,
like any actions that involve magic gets onto the news,
right.
that's when the
The
government will.
difficulty level of this mission goes up exponentially.
Yes, this is
Okay.
so stupid.
No, that's the best part. Stupidity is fun. Keep that
Also,
in mind.
I would love for someone to just draw a random fancy party in the middle of like like a busy like Seattle streets,
Oh,
looking
yeah.
all confused.
I do happen to know one of our listeners is an artist, and if you feel like it, please,
If you feel like it.
you know who you are.
Oh, I guess that would just be so funny. Okay. They have to ask people around if like where a missing child would be.
Would they have a sketch of him at all? Like,
I
would
think
the
I think
missing sign include a sketch of him?
I think it would. Let's say
Yeah.
that the job posting also includes a sketch.
Kind of like wanted poster, but missing persons poster, except there's no milk carton.
I was about to say like reference a milk carton.
Yeah, I got there first.
No, it was found on a tavern mug.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen me?
Have you seen this boy?
Give
Are
me a
you
couple
one for
drinks
me?
and I might remember. Okay, so I think that one is gonna be somewhat straightforward.
And common, I'm just going to assume is the same as English.
Yeah, we are going to say common is
Okay.
basically English.
Would you want to assign the various like other languages? Actually, you know what? This is up to the game master. If you want to, you can assign the various other languages that can be spoken in our world to be the same as other languages spoken in whatever universe your story is taken in, like
Or
Elvish being French or something like that.
or funnier route is if the party encounters a bunch of nerds, i.e., Lord of the Rings nerds.
Oh
The
my gosh,
Elvish
and they
that's from
speak
Lord of the Rings
Elvish.
that they know how to speak is actually
And
the
common
Elvish.
is not the same?
No, I'm saying common is basically English, but like
Okay.
you know how like Lord of the Ring fans they know their the
Yes,
Elvish in
because
that
it's
universe.
actually a language. Yeah.
Let's say
Just
that
think,
at the Elvish in the fantasy world is this just so happen to be the same as our Lord of the Rings Elvish, and Orcish is the same for Lord of the Rings, and let's say
yeah,
Dwarvish is basically Klingon.
that would totally be.
And
Yeah,
it's just like the
that'd be
nerdy
effective.
thing. So it's like when they speak those other languages, people are just gonna assume that they're just a bunch of nerds,
Like,
or
yeah.
fellow nerds would hear it. It's like, oh my god, you know how to speak Klingon too?
Yeah. Okay. I like that one. Bring out the nerds.
We're going full ridiculous with this episode.
Oh yeah. Is there ever players who don't speak common?
No, because well,
I mean, there's a reason it's
depending
called
on the
common.
system you play, we
Yeah.
constantly reference Dungeons and Dragons because this is the like fifth edition because that's the one we know the best. But
Yes.
for D&D fifth edition, that's always a staple. You always get common.
Okay. How
And
funny
it's
would it be if
common
someone didn't know
plus some other
something?
languages
Yeah. Some other language that would make sense for your character to know.
for your background or generally.
Like Klingon,
Parentheses
or
dwarf.
the language from Atlantis, because that's actually a speakable language too. The animated Disney movie.
Oh, it took me a second to remember that. That was a movie, yes.
Yeah, that's an amazing movie. One of their best.
If you want to toss in Dothraki from
So
Song of Ice and
basically,
Fire, Game of Thrones.
any created like fantasy language in our world was inspired or learned from
It's just
this other realm.
coincidentally was
Maybe the
generated.
people who created these, maybe not coincidence, maybe the people who created these actually ended up in that other world and they're not telling anyone and they learned a language. So now they're creating it, air quotes here, in our world and taking the credit for it.
That would be just so ironic.
And there's the backstory we don't need for this quest.
Again, fixating on backstories. That's a steeple of quest
I
board.
had an idea and I ran with it, and I ran too far. So kids
do
with
you
a cop.
think? Yeah. Do you think they have to kill the cop father or foster parent?
I really don't want them to. It's not cool to kill cops. And this
Okay.
having volunteered.
Disclaimer for everyone: this is fiction. This is purely for entertainment. Not really against cops or anything like that, or killing people on a mass murder spree, but playing a tabletop RPG, everyone turns into a murder hobo anyways, to
Yeah,
some
I
degree.
know.
It's just, you're on
There's
the
always
spectrum
some
of
murder
murder
done.
hobo.
Okay.
We all understand it. It's
So-
not a thing against cops or anything like that. It's the same thing as us talking about killing guards in the
Can I say
fantasy
what I
realm.
want to say?
Sorry. Just long disclaimer.
I know. It's the same as taking out guards. Like, you can always do non-lethal damage. But I was gonna say, so the party, like, at some point we'll find out guns are a thing if they're not already a thing in their world. But the guns here are a little bit better.
A lot better.
So maybe they may try to avoid killing in order to avoid more guns showing up. Is my
I was
my only
about to
input.
make a comment about the police that we have today, and
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
know.
that's going to avoid anything.
I know. They can set this in any time too.
Yeah, but modern day is funnier.
It is, especially with everything that's going on right now. Okay.
Okay, let's just say
The longer they are in this world, the more guns will show up. That's probably going to be the case.
okay.
Especially if they stand out like sore thumbs.
I think this probably will be just a very simple. If they talk to the police about finding the boy, and then they say we're here to retrieve him for the mother who is very far away. I think that the party could convince basically the police / that foster parent.
That would take a really high roll.
As I was
Because
speaking, I realized that it's like
The kid
no
has
cop
never
will.
seen these people before.
Yeah, but also the cop probably is like, I'm not letting you go. Release this kid to not his mother. who
Yeah.
claimed-" Yeah, I
exactly.
realized as I was saying it
Police
that
are
it's not gonna work.
responsible. And also, the kid has never seen these people before. So he's not going to be like, oh, yeah, I know them. I can go with them.
But then it's like, yes, your mother, Valerie, sent us. We had this wanted poster of like missing child thing.
Yeah, we were hired.
But then,
we're
like, I feel like
adventurers.
the
You would know
kid-
that.
Yeah, I think the kid would understand that. It's the cop that would have a problem with it because he's seeing
Right.
not his
So-
mother, a group of cosplaying
Possibly
weirdos.
aliens.
Cosplaying weirdos.
Yeah.
That's not his mother grabbing this kid. He would not allow that.
No, definitely not.
So
He
this
would
turns
protect
into
that child.
another heist.
It does. It turns into a kidnap the child for his safety.
But so then the kid is like somewhat like agreeable because he's like he understands. It's like his
Yeah.
mom sent him. He's on board.
Maybe they
then
have
the
something
cop-
of his.
The cop doesn't
Like,
let
if-
him out of the house
Well, no, of course not.
because
Maybe they have something that belonged to James as a way of tracking him. If any of them have like locate person or something along those lines, they could possibly use that to track him. So they could be like, "See, look, your mother gave this to us," and he's like, "That's my teddy bear."
that was a great
Or
kid
something.
voice.
Thank you. We'll be here all night.
But then the cop still doesn't let them like
No,
let the
he wouldn't.
child go
He's
to their
responsible.
custody.
He needs a mother and he needs documentation, which they will not have.
Oh, there's no way that they have it. No, if the cop asked for documentation, they showed like the the wanted like missing
Yeah.
child thing. He's like, no, that doesn't count.
And it's like they could show a guild card. He'd have no idea what that is. He's like, what is this? Some cosplay stuff?
I don't
No,
need your Lord of the Rings crap.
I need ID here. And that's where they definitely won't have it because They don't go around carrying a driver's license in fantasy settings.
So that is the pinnacle moment of to kill a cop or not kill a cop.
Yep, and that's where you find out if your party is evil.
Pretty much.
Because
It's
he's a
it's
good
g-
cop.
it's actually going to be. I feel like for most parties, there's a little bit of just metagaming. People naturally do it. It's just to the
Cop's name
point
is
of like.
Elliot Clements.
No, thank you. I
Yeah, sorry,
forgot to ask about a name for that.
yeah,
I was just gonna say like players naturally metagame. It's just to the point where most people just don't do it to the point where it's basically cheating.
yeah,
And so they put themselves a little bit into the character. Players probably like they're fine with killing a guard in a fantasy world that's not their own. But when it's the moment when it's like our world, I think it'll be harder for them to actually kill a cop.
right. But it would be easier
Unless
for
they're
them to
psychopaths.
charm him or put him to sleep or,
Oh yeah.
any sort of magical means of,
A simple charm spell
yeah,
could solve
whatever we're
this
taking.
entire
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah, so fast. Or even friendship. I think that's a spell.
I think I'm not entirely sure on that one.
It's like, now you're my friend.
Well,
You'll do
charm
whatever I
person
want.
is basically that.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so by some means, they get the kid. Now they have to backtrack and get back to that island. How did they get off the island?
Oh, we determined it for James, but we forgot to do it for the party.
Yeah. So either, like, if they have any means of transportation that could carry them across water, then they can use that. Otherwise, they can
But
either.
if they do that, then the DM rolls something beyond the screen to see if that attracts the attention of
Oh, yeah.
the secret agent.
Yeah, because, like, if, I don't know, say they have a flying carpet, someone's gonna see that, especially if it's midday. If it's the middle of the night, they could get away with it. In the dead of night, we grab a couple of longboats. Sorry, another quote. I'm just full
I
of
feel
them
like
today.
I should know that quote, but I don't know it.
That would be the road to El Dorado. Always notes we grab some provisions,
I'm
hijack
not.
one of those longboats, and then row back to Spain like there's no mañana.
I think I saw that once, like maybe 15 years ago.
I have absolutely no idea how many times I've watched that movie because we watched it essentially on repeat while making cosplay. Because every time we couldn't find a reference, we had to watch the movie again. Oh no. It's a good time.
I'm surprised you're not sick of it.
I can't be sick of it. It's so good.
Should we talk about like the abilities of? Okay, what is the name of the like super special secret agent that has special powers?
Agent Smith, I said it earlier.
Did you say that? I'm sorry,
I
didn't hear
did.
that.
That's okay. It was more of a joke. I do have another name on my
Well,
name
we
generator.
could
Kind of sounds cool.
slap Smith at the end of it. So what's the first
Okay.
name?
Carter.
Carter Smith.
Well, the name I found was Carter Rush, which kind of sounds cool, but Carter Smith just sounds like you're slapping secret agent names together and it's fun.
Okay,
like
yeah, Agent Carter Smith.
Yeah. And Officer Elliot Clements.
Carter Smith. Should we just give him like player spells?
Let's see. If he's telepathic and all that stuff, that would fall probably under sorcery, like sorcerer type sorcery. So you could give him like kind of base sorcerer things more along the telepathic telekinetic range.
But there is pyrokinesis, so we could give him
There's
like,
also so
flame
much fun.
blade
Yeah, you could totally do that.
or not fireball, flaming sphere.
Ooh, yeah. I like that one a lot. I like throwing that at people or just slowly moving it into their space.
Okay, so Agent Carter Smith will have telepathic, telekinetic, pyrokinetic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to, like, if the party's high enough level, wall of force.
Yep. And like Officer Elliot would be more along the lines of a fighter. So no magic, but he could have like fighter type stats and maybe throw in a little gunslinger too, because
No,
mean-
you could easily just have a gun be a 1d8 damage gun.
I mean,
any
guns do
any
exist.
rifle would be 1d10.
Yeah, guns do exist. They're in the Dungeon Master's Guide of D&D 5e.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. Or I didn't bother reading that section.
I'm playing a gunslinger in another campaign.
That's why.
It's so much fun.
So I think it'll be funny if after they get little James, they're like, "How do we get back?" Oh, James was picked up by a kayak, and so they're gonna try to rent a kayak, but they don't have any money, so then they have to gain money.
Well, here's a thought though. They've got gold. Like our
Okay,
money.
but if you hand that to a cashier, they're gonna think it's fake.
Well, yes. It's like our money is originally based on the gold standard. If they somehow figure out how to test it, and find out this is real gold. You've just overpaid me. Okay, you can take the
Yeah, but
kayak.
no one is ever going to believe that, and no one's ever going to test it because no
Not if
one
it's
would
a
think anyone will pay for with that.
what if it's a really shady kayak rental place?
No, because all kayak rental place in the Pacific Northwest is reputable and completely honest. Please don't yell at us.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But what if we invent a shady one? Or you know what?
I
You
think
know,
it's just more comical if it's they have to pay with Earth money, U.S. dollars,
or
or
in the dead of night, they hijack one of those kayaks and row back to the island.
I mean, yes, thievery
And
could solve everything.
yeah, pretty much.
You know what? They could steal the entire ferry. They could just get on it and then they hijack it and then
Would
they
they know how
steer
to
it to the
operate a
island.
ferry?
No,
Yeah. I don't think they would know how to operate that. I think
but
they're
that
all
would be a
mechanical,
comical
so
moment.
that would be hilarious. That like if they go for that, I guess look up the operating system of a ferry so you can give them a really detailed and obnoxiously hard to figure out puzzle.
That sounds overly complicated, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on what the party does. You really have to roll with the punches on that one.
Yeah.
But make it back, go through the portal. Let's say after the party does that, the portal disappears, never to be seen again. It was a one-time thing.
Yeah,
Return the
that would
kid.
be a
Get.
little too Deus Ex Machina there.
It's almost like this is a one-shot,
Oh, maybe.
a side quest one-shot.
Yeah.
Get paid,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I think that is pretty much it. Unless
Yeah.
you have any other thoughts on anything
Honestly,
like that.
I keep looking at this map and I see the Home Depot just hanging out there, and it's like it'd be so funny if they visited Home Depot.
No, I was thinking it would be funny if they visited Starbucks.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, I've been to a Starbucks in full cosplay. They
Oh
don't
my
bat an
god.
eye.
The party would be like, I need to find the local tavern.
Yeah,
And
they
the
end up at a
DM's like,
Starbucks
you see this corner shop, glass on the sides in which you see people congregate drinking around, and there's a green circular logo
with a mermaid on it.
with lines that looks like a mermaid.
Oh man, they don't have money.
Okay. Real test on your DMing skills.
Uh-oh.
Explain the Seattle skyline to someone that's like from a fantasy world. Like as a DM, try to explain like their perspective when they see the skyline.
The skyline is broken up by what appears to be large stone monoliths with a giant tower somewhere in the middle, impossibly perched upon the top. It must be held up by magic of some sort.
You hear distant sounds, loud, just sequence of honks.
I don't know about you, but I still hear frogs.
Yes, it's
Sorry.
late at night when we're recording this. Thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, they've heard it by now.
Maybe, I don't know. I was gonna just describe like the distance like sounds of just traffic, but screwed me up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please go. I won't interrupt this time.
You hear frogs.
Well, they
Like-
might on the island they're on.
like the sound of thousands of croaking frogs. You hear in the distance the sound of what seems to be a more deep guttural just what is another word to say honk?
Horn, like someone's blowing
But
a horn
I
in the
want
distance.
I want or
You know,
yeah,
like-
battle horns.
Like a ram horn? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That could be what it sounds like.
Distance of battle horns being sound off across the waters.
There you go. And just a low hum because the city is never quiet. There's always
these stone
that
pi-
low
uh,
hum.
On these stone monoliths, you see what could be hundreds of light torches illuminating different elevations on these monoliths, even at the
Oddly
base.
arranged in a grid.
And then they'll be like, "What?" You're like,
When you look at the sky, you can't really see any stars.
"Oh yeah, you can't see stars."
Yeah. Darn cities and all their light pollution. Oh, and the smell. Oh!
Okay,
Honestly, I don't think the smell would change that much. Medieval town versus downtown city.
no, it's a very distinct, different smell though.
It probably is, yeah.
You'll be smelling a lot more of like smoke and exhaust and all that stuff.
Weed. Lots of weed.
Okay, way to really hone in on that stereotype.
I'm sorry, I'm very sensitive to smells. So if I'm anywhere in a city and there's weed nearby, I'm gonna smell it. And that just kind of stuck with me the last time I was there. I mean, on any city.
legal.
I was actually just downtown Portland last night.
It's legal.
It's legal. I know it's legal. I don't like the smell, but it's legal.
You don't like the smell of alcohol either.
Nope, there's a lot of things I don't like the smell of. Like lavender.
I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. That's a good solid. You
A
get there, you
lot of
find the
room.
kid. Here's what happens.
A lot of room of just hijinks in modern
yeah.
Seattle.
Oh, yes. Be like, what is this amazing door? It opens as I get close to it. It's like magic.
You could call them Jack Skellington because what's this?
I know. What's this? What's this? There's hobos everywhere.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
That was very good. That was really good.
You're welcome. There's a lot of hobos too.
In any dense populated
Yeah, in
cities,
any
there's
city. Or
a homeless
they're not
problem.
always hobos. Sometimes they're just people that kind of dress like a hobo and they're just chilling,
And they
reading a
still
book or
get
something.
change.
I know. They still get, I mean, there's a lot of good people in the world that want to help them, and that's awesome. Good on you, people.
Okay, I think we need to wrap this up.
I just really like the word hobo.
Thank you for listening. If you put this in your game, let us know the hijinks that they had in Seattle. Let us know on Twitter at QuestBoardPod. And if you have your own job posting idea, let us know on the same platform. And with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.